Hi, you're watching Current Issues. My name is Vineet Malhotra. Demonetization will complete a month in a week's time, and besides being hailed as an economic juggernaut, it is also slated to disturb the ecosystem of demand and supply. The real estate sector that thrived and survived on cash has been relegated to a cursory vocation. FMCG products such as electronics and phones are languishing in showrooms and shops without a single buyer ready to part with his new or old cash in any way whatsoever. And yet, there is news of black money spurring up again in certain areas of our country. Despite its virtues, is demonetization a fair game? We find out with our guest today on Current Issues. Joining me will be Mr. Sudesh Verma, spokesperson for the BJP, Rohan Gupta, spokesperson for the Congress Party, Sharad Kohli, business analyst. Thank you everyone for joining us. Sharad, let's begin with you, and then we will go to BJP and Congress and figure out what is going on right now. Okay, there is something known as the cash to GDP ratio. The government says that things will never be the same. The quantity of cash in the years to come, probably by 2019 or 18, will be lesser than before. But nobody's talking about the dent. Nobody's talking about the relegation some of these products have actually received. And 3/4 is what the government predicted that will be hit because of demonetization. Do you see the ripple effect going beyond that now? Now you see that trends are showing up as to what is not selling and what is not actually catching up in the market?
You see the cash to GDP ratio, as an economist, I can say that which you're talking about. There is a document, Vineet, which is called Payment and Settlement System, Reserve Bank of India, Vision 2018. So if you read that document, it talks about cash to GDP ratio. So the cash to GDP ratio prior to demonetization was about 12%, which means, I mean, in simpler terms, that out of the total GDP, 12% was floating cash. Now this is likely to be pegged down to 8.5%, which effectively means that 1/3, literally 1/3 of the cash is never going to come back to the Indian economy. So what does this mean? This means that there is a need immediately for the businesses, for the economy as a whole, to change these spending habits, to get used to not seeing enough cash, to get used to not stacking cash in your lockers, not using cash per se. So that, I think that is the transition, Vineet, which the whole economy will have to get used to. Let's not forget, it's a 70-year-old habit of using cash. And, from going from cash in hand to cash in hand is definitely not an easy task. I think from families to businesses to consumers to farmers, practically everybody right now is feeling the crunch. And I think it is high time for people to give up the habits. But as they say, that habits die hard. It is that aspect of habits dying hard which is particularly causing problem to the economy.
Let me go across to Mr. Rohan Gupta, spokesperson for the Congress Party. Rohan, now, demonetization has been into effect for almost a month. Some of those lines have gotten shorter because, some amendments have been made. But businesses like real estate and FMCG have taken a real beating. Targets are not being achieved. Employees are under a lot of stress. Nobody wants to spend money. The malls are abandoned. Mall roads are vacated. Is this a ripple effect that the government probably did not compute before it launched demonetization? Or do you think this was probably predicted and this is a manthan, a grind that we all must put up with?
See, as the gentleman has rightly said just few minutes ago, basically the purpose of demonetization, as it was claimed by government, to peg the black money. But now what we talk about a ripple effect, the whole economy is in doldrum. People don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. The confidence level is at its low. As he has rightly said, there is a 70-year habit. Do you want to compel people to change their habit overnight? Was this the purpose declared by
But Rohan,
Mr.
was it a bad habit or not? Rohan, tell me one thing. Was it a bad habit or a
See,
virtue?
Again. See, whether it's a good, listen to me, let me complete. Whether it's a good habit or bad habit, has Prime Minister declared that this was his purpose when he declared demonetization? No. The people supported, the country supported demonetization because he claimed that it will bring down the black money. Right. Now again there is an effort made by BJP and all others to divert it to cashless economy. See, I am not saying that cashless economy is bad, but there is a timing which should be given to the country. The country where more than 50% transactions are in cash, you don't expect people to understand it and change overnight. It takes time. So only precisely thing I am saying that since government has failed miserably on demonetization purpose, that it will take out black money. We have seen that already 11 lakh crores of money is been deposited in banks, and now Mr. Modi and his government is afraid that our claims will get exposed. So now they are diverting country towards this cashless thing. So I am very clear that people of this country are watching. They have seen the decision which is taken by you has been wrong, and people will definitely ask answer from you.
Mr. Sudesh Verma, you probably heard what Mr. Rohan Gupta of the Congress Party had to say. I want you to respond to that, and sir, also clarify that real estate, FMCG goods, and cars, have specially taken a beating because of demonetization. Now, apart from the virtues that demonetization is going to bring, Mr. Gupta has also leveled a charge that, calling it cashless is probably just, a way of circumventing the real issue which the BJP had when it came into power, which was actualization of the black money which is parked firstly outside of India, secondly in the real estate sector, and thirdly in gold and silver and so on and so forth, sir.
You see, coming to the second aspect about cashless society, that is something which is desirable. We are not saying that it will happen overnight. We also understand when you are talking about 70-year of old habit, we understand it takes time, but a beginning has to be made. If you actually want to get rid of black money in the long run, you have to get into cashless society. But we are not saying that 100% would be cashless. No, a gradual progression will be there. You see, you can't say, I'm sure that both of your panelists must not have used cash for major transactions. As for example, when there are smaller transactions, I do use cash. But when I have to buy something, like clothing, like other things, I do make the payment through card. So that is the thing which urban India and the elites of the country are enjoying. So do they not want the farmers to enjoy the same facility? Why should farmers be forced to carry cash? So that option should be available. That clear option should be available where they can actually use this. This cashless facility is actually a boon in the sense that you don't have to carry cash and you can swipe the card and get the payment done and still, purchase. Tell me, coming to the first question you asked, tell me how many people in this country would actually go with 10 or 15 lakh rupees in cash and then buy a car? No, they will not do. Similarly, they will not take 50 lakh rupees to buy a flat. They can do it by card because it's a major transaction. And if that facility is available, then people will be actually persuaded to use it because they will see the safety, they will see the transparency of transaction.
You cannot force
which is what
them.
the government is aiming at.
Them.
Those who are opposing, actually.
Okay, well, Sharad,
the cars, where is the force?
The automobile sector, which was already okay. Let me come back to you, sir.
You would be able to withdraw money.
Okay, well, we will discuss the virtues of demonetization, but particular sectors also have to be discussed. Sharad, car sales, automobile industry, that was already languishing with losses and under sales of 15%, and that has shot probably at thrice the level it was already at, 45%. Now the only concern probably an investor, a foreign investor will have is the state of economy right now.
See, there is one thing, Vineet, which I would like to say here. You spoke about real estate, you spoke about the automobile sector just now. Let me point out that the sectors which are reeling under demonetization in particular, I talk of at least three sectors in real estate, the automobile and the jewelry. The reason why they are reeling is because they were rollicking in cash. So when you are rollicking in cash, obviously when cash is sucked away from the economy, that sector is directly impacted. So, personally speaking, as an economist, I have no sympathy with particularly, for example, real estate sector. When you are going to do a deal, you were openly asked, kitna cash lenge, kitna check milenge. And this was not a secret. This was very open. So for such sectors, this was, I think, a vice in the economy. It is definitely not good for an economy. To be fair, two people have a property deal and they speak about kitna cash, kitna check se lenge. Same goes for car industry, you asked. You see, it is because of the second-hand car industry, the used car industry, which has been severely hit by demonetization. It is because of that the cascading effect of secondary market is being felt on the new car market. So that is the case. A very important aspect, Vineet, which I would like to touch upon here is Korea, which got independence 2 years before India and went through an equally painful, colonial role, became a developed economy much before us. The reason was that the tax compliance in Korea was much higher, which we don't see. Only 3 to 4% people in our economy pay taxes. And I would also like to point out to something when you.
But we should also factor in the population and the size of South Korea. When we actually do a comparison between India and South Korea, Sharad.
No, we do, but let's not forget that it was definitely not a developed economy earlier. We were talking of both the Koreas joined together earlier. They divided into North Korea, South Korea much later. Now, I would point out to what our Congress spokesperson said. He said 11 lakh crores has already been deposited in the economy. As an economist and as also a tax consultant in certain regards, I would like to point out that very importantly, that all the 11 lakh crores which has been deposited in the banks is not white money, mind you. It is not white money. People, if you had 10 lakh rupees, what you've done is spread across 4 family members. Go and deposit 2 lakh 40. Go and deposit 2 lakh 35 in your daughter's name. 2 lakh 35 in your wife's name.
All right. So, Mr. Verma, can it be rightly said that this move is probably, if we talk about the real estate sector, which had such a big cash component involved in it, is this a win-win situation for the buyer as well as the seller?
Yes, for the buyers it's definitely going to be good, because you see, buyers are going to get now in competitive pricing. The real estate, what happened? Many people had stashed their black money as finances and they used to sell it in the market. But now the market will crash because the real estate property prices are not actually at the level it should be. It is not affordable for the middle class. You see, a 2-bedroom house costing 30 to 35 lakh is huge, and the country cannot be a normal middle class cannot be so now this housing will be affordable, because there is going to be a crash, because the black money will not flow. Yes, those financiers who have invested in anticipation of gain, they would suffer. The builders who were dealing in cash, they would suffer. But honest taxpayers who have honest money, they will have field day now.
Okay, Rohan, with a lot of cash with banks, the liquidity is going to increase. Do you see that the banks will actually follow this line? They will toe this line and eventually soften the interest rate, so that, like we discussed, the win-win situation actually coexists with this the slump in property.
See, I'll come back to the basic point of demonetization. When this decision was taken, the basic purpose was to take out the black money from the economy. Now, if we say yesterday's figures, as the gentleman has rightly told, that 11 lakh crores are already deposited with the banks. And he has rightly said whether it is white or black, that is to be decided in future. My only point, like whatever right now we are discussing, was never the motive behind demonetization. It was only to take out the black money. And the gentleman says that real estate prices will drop, the price of the flats will drop. I disagree with that. If my purchase cost is X and if I am a builder, I am not going to sell it as a loss. So what I see for next 3-4 months, the whole economy going down. 50% of our retail trade is in cash. People don't have cash because liquidity is taken out of the market.
You were not
By
being
the time
honest.
it becomes normal, it will be another 3-4 months. Hello?
Go ahead, Rohan, we can hear you. Go
I
ahead.
can't hear you.
My
Hello?
point is that these builders were not being honest.
Yeah. So what I'm saying
these
is,
builders
when
were not honest. If you wanted to
this
book-
chunk of
if you
cash
wanted
is
to
taken
book-
out of
no,
the
no.
market.
If you
it's
wanted to
not
book a
only-
bigger
it's
profit,
not only real estate.
if you wanted to
any,
book a bigger
any
profit,
industry,
that is your
whether
problem.
it is textiles, whether
You cannot
it is
have 100,
whether it is
200%
agriculture,
profit in real
people
estate.
don't have money, and it will have a ripple effect on economy. And Indian people will not forgive this government for taking such drastic steps. And since they have failed, now they are giving us the logic. Okay, now the real estate market will go down. You will get cheaper flats. You will get cheaper cars. This is all wrong logic. The only purpose where
It has
people
already
supported
started
this
happening.
government on
My dear
demonetization
Rohan, it
was
has already
to take out
started
the black
happening.
money. Was
Real
to
estate
take out the
prices
black
have
money.
started going down. People will find it more attractive now.
There is no cash in market.
Now when the interest rates go down, When
No,
the
it's not.
interest rates go
It's
down,
not.
they'll find
No.
it more attractive.
See,
because real
no,
estate
when-
prices
when
are
will it
already
go down?
on a
I don't-
downslide.
See, the government is writing off the bad loans. The whole money, whatever is taken, is going to the pockets of the big industrialists. You tell me which big industrialist has
Nobody is
complained
doing
about
that. You are
this
wrong.
step?
You are
The
wrong.
only
You are
person
misguiding.
suffering
Government
the
is not
common
doing
man
that.
and
Rohan.
is a small,
No.
small industrialist.
Government is not
We are
doing that.
talking-
You are
we
wrong.
we are,
You are parroting
okay,
a
Mr.
line which is
all-
falsehood.
All right, okay.
which is
Let's
not
let's
true.
let's
No,
let's
it's not wrong.
let's
No,
maintain
that's
some
not wrong.
decorum.
Justice.
Let's
No,
not talk
let-
at the
let
same
me
time,
complete.
Sharad.
Let me complete.
Black money,
Let me
cashless
complete.
economy
What-
is probably
let-
the motive behind it.
let me
It is probably the priority of the government. But let us not forget that there have been a couple of incidents, Sharad, where black money has spurred up again, and we are not talking about pocket change. Seizure of 4.7 crore worth of new rupees 2000 currency notes by the IT officials by 2 contractors is one example. And just a week before that, about 5 lakh rupee worth of bribe money was actually impounded by IT officials.
See, first of all, we need
It
to
has already started.
No,
What
we
has
need-
changed?
No, we need to see that we are not moving to a cashless economy. We will have to first move to a less cash economy. So first of all, we are not drying up all the cash. Secondly, for the problem which you said, I would like to blame some of the banking personnel. What they have done is they have followed some malpractices. Some of the cash you must be hearing when this exchange business was going on, when the IDs were being given for the people who were, we've heard stories of bankers collecting 200 IDs and giving 9 lakh rupees. So how do you, when people are craving for 2000 rupees, how do you think these people were able to collect 5 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees or a few crore rupees for that matter? You know, the reason being because the cash was illegitimately flushed out of the banking system and it was being exchanged for a certain commission, which I think practice government should have foreseen at that time. That is there a loophole in the policy when an ID is given to the bank and the person can come and change 4,500 rupees. All this racket has happened at that time, and this is how this kind of cash has floated into the economy. So I think what has happened has happened.
But Sharad and Mr. Verma, it's only a matter of time, before this cash comes back into the economy. It comes back into the hands of people, unscrupulous people who want to actually bribe. Are there going to be mechanisms? Are there going to be surveillance mechanisms outside of the bank which will actually monitor the purview of black money going into the wrong hands?
Well, if Mr. Verma allows me, I can answer that. Although it's a policy matter of the BJP government. But as an economist,
we'll still get a take from him.
Sure.
Let Mr. Verma, then let Mr. Verma talk, Mr. Sharad.
Okay, fine.
Mr. Verma, go ahead. Mr. Sir, Mr. Verma.
Let him talk.
Okay. You see, the issue is that this government has inherited so many years of falsehood, so many years of lawlessness, termite-eaten institutions, where corruption has become a daily fact of life. If you try to set one system correct, you are not able to do because the entire system is corrupt. Nobody took care of those institutions. When something wrong is happening in the banking system,
people.
I completely
70 people
agree.
should not lose life because of your drastic decision.
The government, come on, Congress should have no face to speak on these things. You have looted the country of 12 lakh crore rupees.
Don't talk about Congress. Talk about your steps.
As if you have
right
become
now,
a saint.
Congress is
Please
not
don't
the
do that.
point. What is
Please
point
don't
is,
do that.
how will you justify
we have a great
your
sense of
drastic
anger
decision
when
of
we are saying that.
demonetization?
You have created
Please
a
stick to the
system
point.
that has been eaten by
Please
termites.
talk about
We are trying to set things correct.
what BJP
You see,
is
raids
going
are
to do in
happening.
future.
You see,
What your
actions will be
government is
taken
going to
against
do in future.
all the
You
complaints
talk about that.
which are coming.
Okay, Rohan,
Those
let Mr.
flawless
Verma
elements,
finish his statement.
those who
Then
are
you will be
making
given
use
an
of the
opportunity to
loopholes in the
speak.
system, those who are trying to manipulate the system, they will not be let off so easily.
Okay. So
We
what
are aware
about
of the system, what is happening. If we receive complaint, we are going to take action. Unscrupulous elements will not be allowed to use the loopholes.
Okay, sir, it was also
They are
supposed to
doing
be,
so, we know it.
demonetization
Action is
is
being
also
taken.
supposed to be a
Action will be
deterrent
taken.
and an impediment to terror activities. But then again, sir, Nagrota happens, sir. And if you talk about
Yeah,
Kashmir,
of course, but at the same time, you see, you are going to cut off their umbilical links. Because if money goes, then terrorism will be less and less. Nagrota happened fine. But at the same time, you see, terrorists do not have the money they had earlier.
What fine?
You have seen stories about how Naxals, they had stashed money. But all the money have become now,
okay.
useless for them.
Okay, the money has
So
become
we are trying to
useless.
set this
Probably
there's no use trying to claim that you are not able to do.
They
We are trying
were
to do
probably
that.
more meant
Appreciate
to
the effort.
manufacture
The
fake
whole
currency,
money has
fake
come
Indian
in
currency
system.
in Pakistan that we actually have in India. Rohan, it's your turn to speak now.
See, I'll tell you the logic what they are given. They have given three logic of demonetization. Number one, that black money will come out. Number two, it will put control on terrorism. And number three, it will benefit the common man. If you see today, if you ask anybody after 20 days, none of these three objective has been achieved or there is a sign that they will be achieved. The money which has already flown in the system due to whether it is a system failure at what is told by Mr. Sharad or whatever it is, today the purpose of demonetization to take out black money is totally flop. Nobody is ready to buy this thing, and as after effect what has happened, the whole economy, everybody is under depression, whether it is a small trader or it is a nobody knows, because what you have done is a country which is dominated by cash transaction. You have taken that cash house just to show your logic of demonetization. You do not have system that by what time you will make the system work properly. Your system of taking money in the banks has been totally failed by this revelation of black money. How logic, what logic you are giving? You are just making people afraid.
Okay, baby,
you are just saying we will do this, we will do that.
You
Come
are
on, please
suffering
understand.
from Vineet.
Please accept that if you have failed, please
Vineet.
accept in front of country that okay, it was our
Vineet.
mistake and we are
Okay.
ready to accept the mistake. Don't give other logic. Don't
Okay,
divert country
you've
towards
made your point,
cashless
Mr. Rohan.
economy. It will happen
Mr.
gradually.
Rohan Gupta, you've made your
if
point.
You see,
Sudesh,
Vineet,
you want to respond to that? Then I'll go to Sharad.
Vineet, I want to give a rejoinder. Yes, Vineet, you see, the issue is you should not suffer from selective amnesia. You see, there is cash crunch because there is a deadline of December end, Till that time, we cannot release the cash because this will further fuel conversion of black money into white. You understand, there is a simple logic in it. Why are you trying to make an issue out of it?
Okay, there's
Prime
a simple
Minister of
logic
the
in
country
it.
has appealed that
The
give us
opposition
50 days.
probably has made
So
up its
please wait.
mind to.
After that, things will be normal.
Okay, well, everybody is hoping that things will be normal, and even on the Prime Minister's app, he received unprecedented support, Sharad. But yet, people want him to speak in the Parliament. People actually want him to take on the opposition. All the logic, all the pragmatism behind demonetization that has been given by the BJP, it actually has to be verbalized by the Prime Minister in the Parliament. Do you think that's the time when actually, things will probably queue up in the right direction?
If I was the Prime Minister, Vineet, I would have after that.
We are not talking about the governor. Even the governor has not made a single statement since demonetization.
No, let me.
Had it been, do you think? Okay,
Yeah.
let me just modify my question. Had it been Raghuram Rajan, do you think he would have said something by now?
I would still prefer to Vineet answer the first part.
But
the
you
way
have to
put
answer
it.
my second question as well.
Yeah, I will definitely. If I was the Prime Minister, and this is for the BJP spokesperson also, after 8th of November, 8 p.m., that historic speech which transformed the country, I would have, Mr. Verma, I would have come onto the national broadcast every alternate day. Let's not forget, it was only on Mr. Modi's words that the whole country was supporting even while standing painstakingly in the queues. I would have come every alternate day and at least spoken to the nation. And if I was the BJP spokesperson, this is how I would have put it. That if you ask an elephant to start dieting, Vineet, listen to this. If I start an elephant to start dieting, he will definitely not become skinny, but he can only become a buffalo. You know what I'm trying to say? That at least the vices in the economy will be reduced. And if I was the BJP spokesperson, I would say this particular mission was not just to change the red color and the green colored notes because we were bored of using them to pink colored and gray colored. The idea was to bring down the cash circulation in the economy. Again, because I'm sure the government is keeping the cards close to the chest. There is more to follow. So once the 30th December thing, which was just referred to, once this period is over, what magic or what other steps are going to be taken is the big question mark, because if this is not followed by certain steps, this can turn out to be a disaster.
Okay, Mr. Verma, in essence, what we want to find out, everybody knows that the Prime Minister is an excellent orator. Even the Chief Minister of Delhi admitted to PM Modi being an excellent orator. But why hasn't he addressed the country on the issue post November the 8th? Why hasn't he addressed the amendments, the sporadic and abrupt amendments that keep coming and going, sir?
Vinit, let me try to answer for the benefit of your viewers. If I was in a position of Sharad Kohli, and if I was the Prime Minister, as he was saying, he would not have been able to do anything when the Parliament session is on, because you don't have a platform other than Parliament to talk about policy issues. This will become privilege of Parliament, you must know it. And that is the reason that when the government wants to speak, the opposition is not interested in a debate, because the government will take, get an opportunity to directly talk to people. You see, Prime Minister can talk political, other leaders can talk political, but when Parliament session is on, you cannot speak on policy issues. Parliament is the forum to speak, and opposition is not allowing us. I am saying with lot of responsibility, they are just interested in creating chaos, because whatever they said, we have accepted, but they are not ready. They are escalating their demand one after the other. This is not done in democracy, and everyone knows this.
Okay, well, the Parliament is probably a place where, the opposition has to give some breathing space. Rohan, you haven't actually given the Prime Minister an opportunity to talk. There's been such a rabble, there's been such a ruckus, there's been a lot of cacophony. Probably patience is a virtue that the opposition should adopt, and give an opportunity to the Prime Minister to see the virtue and show you the virtues of demonetization, because that is what you want to know.
See, Prime Minister has asked for 50 days from the country, and we have seen like 20 days, if around 80 people have lost their life, it's a serious issue, where the only thing opposition is saying is requesting Prime Minister to be there in Parliament and give the comments on this demonetization. What wrong we have asked, and where is the question of patience? And you are saying that we are creating ruckus. Where is the question of ruckus? It's a simple demand that when Prime Minister can talk in public function, why he cannot come to Parliament and make a statement?
Okay.
What stops him? Because I'll give you the answer of that. In public, you can talk rhetorics. You can just do one-way thing. You can just take claps of people, but in Parliament there are people who are sitting, who are ready to counter question you, for which you do not have logical answers. And listen to this, that Parliament is the place, even if any policy decision, where whatever you declare, it has to be given in Parliament first. But this government has not followed this step, and Prime Minister is worried that in Parliament he has no logic to counter.
Okay, well articulated, Rohan, but unfortunately at this point in time, Mr. Verma, we'll have to wrap up the show. Conclusion, seems to tell us that, there are only three kinds of opinions: yours, mine, and the right one. And on this note, we'll end the show. And thank you, Mr. Verma, Mr. Gupta, and Sharad Kohli for joining us. This is all we have on current issues. But if you want more information and more latest news, please follow our website, www.newsworldindia.in. You can even like us on Facebook, on the address on your screen, and follow us on Twitter, and make sure you tune in to Newsworld India at 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday to watch all the latest action from the world of politics and the Indian ecosystem. Thank you for watching.